What you're looking for, you can find it here on the Hope TV. What you're looking for, what you're looking for, you can find it here on the Hope TV. What you're looking for, whoa, welcome to the Hope TV. What you're looking for, you can find it here on the Hope TV. What you're looking for, what you're looking for, you can find it here on the Hope TV. What you're looking for, whoa, welcome to the Hope TV.
Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Yes, I am. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Ooh. Yes, I am.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and let us be glad in it. Welcome to Hope TV. I'm so excited that you've tuned in today. I'm E. Dewey Smith, one of our Hope dealers here, and it is a joy, a privilege, and an honor to be able to share with you on today to present some entertaining faith. So blessings to all of you who've tuned in. It's certainly a privilege and a blessing to be here. And I thank God for all of you. And also welcome to the month of March. That's right, March 1st, 2022. We're here, made it through the first 2 months, and we're here and we're blessed and we're grateful to all of you for being a part. Hope you're blessed and just blessed on today. Good day to you, Lynette Martin. Good day to you, Tina Williams. Morning to you, Facebook, Barbara Marshall from YouTube. Blessings, thank you. Velda Whitfield from California. Blessings to you on Facebook, Velda. Glad to have you. That Velita. 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 I apologize. Perez Watson, good morning to you on YouTube. Glad to have you with us. Good morning, Sean Addison, all from Arkansas. Blessings to you. Glad to have you with us today as well, Sean. Thanks for your support. Bunny Pryor, good to have you with us from South Haven, Mississippi. Yeah, my great friends down in South Haven and Memphis area. Blessing to you. Glad you're here with us today. Certainly appreciate you for being a part, and thank everybody for tuning in and dropping me a line and letting me know the city and the state and the country from which you're viewing. Love to hear you say he's bringing you out. Thank you, Barbara. He's bringing you out. Yeah, I gotta go pick that one up. It's Belinda Lawrence. Blessings to you from Sparta, Georgia. That's Hancock County. Yes, that's preach and sang down in Hancock County when I was a boy. Boy preacher down in Hancock County, Sparta, Georgia. Blessings to you. Thank you, Bunny Proud. Everybody for tuning in. Who was that? Brenda Berry from Dallas, Texas. Blessings to you, Brenda. Jesse Snellings. How are you, Miss Snellings from Decatur? Good to see you again. Glad to have you with us. Thank you for your support on Hope TV and how you serve with our ushers throughout this pandemic. We've had so many funerals, and Miss Snellings is always there. Love you. Queen Natalie from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. Tina Williams, blessings to you from Fort Valley, Georgia. Glad to have you with us. Um, um, Matrius Hamilton, blessings to you. Morning to you on Facebook. Morning to you. That's right. I know you're a blessed member. I know you are Christina McClellan. Good morning to you on Facebook. Lynette Martin, good morning to you from Union Point, Georgia. Good blessings to you, Lynette. Glad to have you with us. I'm so excited, so excited. Everybody for tuning in today, whether it's Apple TV, Roku, Twitch, Amazon, Fire TV, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whether it's Instagram Live, the E. Dewey Smith website, the House of Hope Atlanta website, whether it's our House of Hope West Point website. Greater Howard, blessings to you. Certainly, we look forward to getting back to West Point in a few weeks. Matrius Hamilton from San Diego, California. Yeah, San Diego, beautiful, beautiful place. San Diego, California. Whether you're watching through the HTV Now website, blessings to you. Mary Penn from Gulfport, Mississippi. Glad to have you with us. Mary from Gulfport, Mississippi. Certainly, I appreciate you being a part. It's certainly an honor and a privilege and a joy to have so many of you tune in. Teresa Reese, blessings to you. Glad to have everybody here with us today. It just warms my heart. Listen, we made it to March 1st. Man, I know the past 2 years, Esther Greer, blessings to you. I know the past 2 years have been interesting to say the least, but we're here by the grace of God. We haven't had public worship in our church since March 8th in our cathedral of 2020, and we look forward to getting back. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Do me a favor before I get too far. Thank you, Tina. That's got it. You got me. Good morning to you, Patricia Davis from Atlanta. If you're watching through a platform, good morning, Kendra Sherman. How are you? If you're watching through a platform that will allow you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share. Subscribe, like, comment, or share. If you could do that, that's certainly be helpful. You can subscribe, like, comment, or share. Good morning, Jack Christina Jackson. Every time you subscribe, you can get notifications as when new content is uploaded, but that subscription really helps us to leverage our platform. We're trying to become a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week network. And the more subscribers we have, the more we can leverage to bring other powerful content creators. And we're trying to bring some other people who are experienced. And in terms of content creation, we want to have the best on our network. And so we want you to do that. Morning to you, Tasha. So when you subscribe, that helps us. So subscribe to the Facebook pages and the YouTube channels of all of the platforms. My Facebook page is the official page of Pastor E. Dewey Smith. We have the House Hope Atlanta Facebook page, YouTube, House Hope Atlanta on YouTube. And you can follow me on YouTube, Dr. E. Dewey Smith. I'm Dr. E. Dewey Smith. Some of y'all don't know that, but y'all follow me on YouTube as well. Good morning to you, Kia. So make sure you subscribe to the Facebook pages and to the YouTube channels. Please, ma'am, please, sir. So subscribe, hit that like button. Every time you hit that like button, that helps us with our algorithms and our engagements. Your comments are so important, especially during teaching sessions like this, but they're important all the time. Your questions and sometimes your suggestions help us in terms of our content creation. And then last but not least, hit that share button. The only way this platform can grow is when you hit that share button. Hitting the likes loosens the algorithm so we can get into more people's attention, but also the share button. You can use your sphere of influence to help us to grow by just sharing it. Good morning, Ethel Davis from Florence, South Carolina. Blessings to you as well. Now, if you're watching today for the very first time, do me a favor, just type in the number 1. Just type in the number 1. And that's all you have to say. When our community sees that 1, they will know automatically to go and to welcome you to our Hope TV family. I'm so excited. It's amazing that I shared my vision with our staff for Hope TV. God blessings to you, Chef. Gila, that you got it. Once. I was right. Yeah, all right. I shared the vision a little less than 2 years ago. This Vision for Hope TV, and here we are now. I think I shared the vision on March 16th, I believe, that God had given me a vision for Hope TV, and here we are. So when we're headed on 2 years, our 2 year anniversary is coming in this month, the month of March, and I give God the praise for all of our Hope TV family, everybody who has supported us in this endeavor. Blessings to you, Beverly Ford. We got 2 new people, one on Facebook, one on YouTube, and one on Facebook. Blessings to you. That's right. Chef and Beverly, when you come to our community, we want you to feel welcome, and you're part of the family, you're part of the network, you're part of the family where we're presenting entertaining faith. And we're in season 6 of Hope TV. It started last Tuesday, and man, I've been so overwhelmed by our programming. You can check out programming, new content every day. So make sure you check it out. Great content, great programming. We've had several shows already today. And so all day long, you can leave it on Hope TV and just be blessed by the programming. Bless you, Levita. Proud of your blessings to you. Glad to have you. Loretta, blessings to you. Glad to have you here. Patricia Smith from Carthage, Mississippi. Blessings to you, Patricia. Glad to have you here with us today as well. And so it's exciting, very, very exciting. Listen, March of 2020 is when, blessings to you, Marva. March of 2020, we launched the vision for Hope TV. I think our first broadcast was on, let's see, March 18th, I believe it was, March 19th. And so we're a little shy of 2 years. Blessings to you, Vida Brooks from San Jose, California. So March of 2020 is when we launched Hope TV. March of 2021 is when we unveiled blessings to you, Francis Hargis from Philadelphia. Blessings to you. March of 2021 is we released our record label, Pepper Street Records. Good morning to you, Millie. Blessings to you on YouTube. And so March has been special. March of 2020, we did Hope TV. March 2021, I released my first single to radio, for my very first single. And it's called Your Presence is a Gift. Morning to you, Amy Robinson. So it was released almost a year ago to radio. I think this coming weekend to be a year that we released it to radio. Your presence is a gift. And family, would you know that nobody knew I was going to be releasing music? It was quiet. We just nobody really knew what's happening. I kind of just put it out there, wanted to do it, and jumped on it. Morning to you, Tina Ag. And we just morning to you, Chris from Monroe MC. Blessings to you. We just kind of jumped on and put it out there. And that's March of 20, that's North Carolina, MC, I don't know it. And so we kind of put it out there, and March of 2021, almost a year. This weekend will be 1 year that we released a single. And I got my report yesterday afternoon that song is still making traction in gospel radio. It's significant. And this week, Billboard, the gospel airplay charts just came out that this week, that song is number 9 on the gospel Billboard airplay charts. Can y'all believe that? Did you hear what I just said? I'm just completely, when I tell you God is amazing. Good morning to you, Annette. I just can't believe that God would do exceeding and abundantly above all you can ask or think. And certainly that's the kind of God we serve. He just blown my mind with provisions and favor. And I give God the glory for it, the honor for it. That's right, Millie. It's just nobody but God. And I'm thankful. I'm just thankful. And I just want y'all to know that God, thank you so much. Thank you. God is faithful, and God is, even when we are not, You know, that's the lesson to God. God is faithful. Listen to you, God. I mean, He's just faithful. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It is Ephesians 3:20. Some of you know I went through a traumatic time in my life 6 years ago, and I had multiple deaths in less than a month in my life. Closest people in my life, amongst the closest people. My godmother 1 week, my mother the next. Best friend from college 3 days after my mama all passed. Godmother, mother, best friend from college. And 3 weeks after my mom passed, my sister passed, and put me in a very dark place. And I had been fixating over my loved one's absence. I didn't handle my grief bad. I was in a bad place, almost 2 years probably. And he is a mighty God. And their absence broke me. And the absences broke me. And so I recorded a song called "Your Presence Is a Gift," because I wanted people to know. I wanted people to know that sometimes we fixate over what we lost and not appreciate what's left. And I was broken because of who was absent from my life. But I found healing when I started appreciating who was present in my life. Hence the song, "Your Presence Is a Gift, You're My Reward." And here we are today, man. Number 9. Can y'all believe that? So there are only 8 songs on gospel radio that play more than mine. And so I'm getting traction every week. So got some interviews with iHeartRadio. And I just think I'm gonna get into the lesson. Let me just throw this at you. I think the bigger lesson is to pursue your dreams. This was a lifelong dream. Second lesson is, I don't care how long it's taken, stick with it. Don't ever give up on your dreams. I think that's the second lesson. Third lesson is, I listened to people for years tell me I couldn't do it because I had to pick ministry, that I couldn't be a preacher, pastor if I was going to be a musician, that I can't be respected as a preacher. Thank you so much. That I couldn't be respected as a preacher and a pastor if I was directing a choir, playing a piano, or playing drums, or playing a bass guitar. That I can never be respected as a real preacher, a legitimate preacher. So I kind of was singing in church and write a few songs here and there, do some things behind the scenes, but just wouldn't pursue this gift and this love. And I realize now that most of the people who told me that when I was a teenage preacher, most of them weren't even musically inclined themselves. And so now I've come to the realization I want to share with you that boxes are for things and not people. I said boxes are for things and not people. And if God gives you a vision, stick with it. Okay, how long it's taken. If it's a business, you can start it. If it's a degree, you can pursue it. If it's a song, you can write it. If it's a poem, you can imagine it. If it's a relationship, you can have it. Whatever is in your heart and mind, you can have it. And so I just want you to just know that. Don't let age, I don't care if I don't care if you love you as well. I don't care if you're in your 40s or your 50s. It doesn't matter. Yeah, God is giving you a dream. Pursue it. It's never too late. You'll be surprised how many people didn't accomplish their vision until they got into their 40s. I can go on and on and on and on and on. So I guess that's the lesson for you. It's never too late. That's right, Tom. I'm glad to have you here from Victorville, California. It's never too late, and pursue it. And this is evidence. That's right, Beverly. This is evidence. And I'm getting a lot of traction, and Radio One has added my song all over the nation. iHeartRadio is playing it now. Just unbelievable. So to God be the glory. And I give God praise for you for your support. All right. So I just want to throw that out there. I have to tell y'all, I told you I wasn't going to say much. I didn't say much about it, but now it's in the top 10. I got to keep talking about it because thank you, Sharon Walker from New Jersey. Now I got to talk about it a bit more now because I'm hoping that it can, climb on up and get a little higher. All right. So praise God. And if you're in Atlanta too, April the 2nd, I'm going to be performing actually at the cathedral, our own church. They got the Clark sisters coming. All of them gonna be at the church in concert. Got Harvey Watkins is gonna be there. Um, who else is gonna be there? Camp Spirituals. It's gonna be a big program, and yours truly is gonna be on that program. I got some special surprise. I'm gonna be singing some songs on my record and taking it back too. So it's gonna be a huge concert at my church where I serve at the cathedral. So I'm excited about it. So if you're in Atlanta, make sure you get your tickets. We're gonna start playing that commercial too because I want to support it because it's gonna be my first. It's gonna be my biggest career concert. So my first time being in a real big concert. I'm doing a set. So I'm excited about it and look forward to it. So blessings to all of you for being a part today. If you haven't got my music, you can get it on all digital platforms. The album is called God Period. But this song is a single off of it, and it's called Your Presence is a Gift. And so call your radio stations, call your radio announcers, and tell them, please play Your Presence is a Gift by E. Dewey Smith. I want to see if I can, I think we can get this thing a little higher. I want to push it as high as we can. Why not? Why not? It's number 9. Why not? Thank you so much, Kimberly. If it's number 9 now, why can't it be number 4, number 5 next week? Why not? God is the kind of God, right? So I'm gonna take the limits off. I never dreamt of this. So I just want to do some music to give an honor, give a tribute to my mother, and because it was a lifelong dream. I didn't expect all this. Thank you so much, Jesse Snellis. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into our lesson today. I'm not gonna hold y'all long. We've been going through the book of Galatians, and we're gonna go. Thank you so much. We're going through the book of Galatians. Bless you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. This is not just special because of Hope TV and because of my music, but I'll be celebrating my 18th year as pastor of House of Hope. That's right, Jack Christina. Why not go number 1? And so I'll be celebrating 18 years this coming week at House of Hope, and I'm excited about that. So everybody who's been rocking with me throughout the years, I love y'all. That's right, Rena. Let it hit number 1. It's number 9. Why not? Yeah, why not? Go all the way. Take the limits off. Take the brakes off. I believe he can. I just, right now, if you told me this a month ago or 6 months ago, I wouldn't have believed it, or even a month ago, I wouldn't have believed it. But thank you, Deborah. But why not? Why not? Why can't it? Why can't it do it? Same God, same gift. God has done it for others, right? Thank you, Lynette Martin. If God has done it for others, why not? Why not? Why not me? Why not? That's the kind of God we serve. So we're just going to trust him and let God's will be done. But I'm going to push it and ask you for your support. Please, ma'am, please, sir. All right, we're in the book of Galatians, and we've been going verse by verse through the book of Galatians. We're in Galatians chapter 5, and I've been talking about this dichotomy where Paul in Galatians 5 says it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your way all the time. See, you want to have it your way all the time. Thank you so much, Vicky. Say you want to have it your way all the time. Thank you, Vicky Top. You've been rocking with throughout the years. Say, man, you want to get it your way all the time. You know, it's obvious what kind of life develops when you want to get your way, your own way all the time. You want to have your way all the time. And you take that down for a second. And I thought about when I read that scripture, what came to my mind, for those of you who are new, because I've been doing this about 2 weeks now. What came to my mind were 2 commercials that I saw. Blessings to Geneva from Orlando and Vicky Todd from Macon, Georgia. Jackie Christina from East St. Louis, Illinois. What came to my mind were 2 commercials that were very popular when I was a teenager. They're food commercials. One was by McDonald's. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed bun. That was the they were putting that in us. Great marketing ploy to tell us what the Big Mac was all about. That was a signature sandwich, and it still is a signature sandwich for McDonald's. They got one now. I saw something on TV the other day. They got like a Big Mac with fish on it. It's the nastiest thing. But anyway, I don't know if y'all saw that commercial. They got like 3 or 4 different meats on the sandwich. I don't know if it was McDonald's or somebody else. It's got like beef. They got beef, fish, and chicken on. It's the gross. It's huge. Oh my god. But anyway, But McDonald's back in the day, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed bun. I see your tears, Tina Williams. That's okay. Keep laughing. That was the Big Mac. It was a signature sandwich because when you order Big Mac, they wanted you to know what that sandwich was. And they had another commercial: Big Mac, filet of fish, quarter pounder, French fries, icy cold, thick shake, thick shakes, milkshake, sundaes, and apple pie. Yeah, Big Mac, filet of fish, quarter pounder, French fries, icy cold, thick shake, sundaes, and apple pie. That was at McDonald's. And but then Burger King had one. His menu. That's what it is. Yeah. Then Burger King had a commercial. Um, they called it "You Can Have It Your Way." You can have it your way. Burger King was trying to present the Whopper, which is their signature sandwich. And okay, Tina. All right, so it's no problem. So Burger King was trying to rival McDonald's. So you had McDonald's with the Big Mac, Burger King with the Whopper. And the moniker for Burger King was "You Can Have It Your Way." And I thought about that. I thought about that. I thought about that. Yeah, Rose, that's right. I thought about that, Rena. Yeah, I thought about that relative to Paul's scripture there in Galatians 5. Because from a food perspective, you can have it your way. You want to grill, fry, broil, bake. Now they have what they call the Impossible Whopper, which is a really good sandwich too. Vegan sandwich is not real meat. If you're not eating meat, that Impossible Whopper, you would think it's really meat. Good alternative to it. Pretty filling too. One of the best sandwiches if you don't you're trying to go without meat. The Impossible Whopper. From a food perspective, you can have it your way. I'm being a food connoisseur, like I'm watching a food show now, huh? Food critic. But anyway, but from a food perspective, you can have it your way. But when it comes to a faith perspective, Paul says it's dangerous when you want to have everything your own way. And so I chose to call this session a Burger King religion. Burger King religion. What happens when we want to have it our way? Which is really what was going on in the church of Galatia. They were trying to pick and choose ceremonies and creeds and customs and culinary constraints and clothing capabilities, circumcision, and the cross. For them, the Judaizers had come back into the churches of Galatia and were trying to convince people that Christ alone and the cross alone were not sufficient. And as a consequence, Paul is really upset with some of the Jews who were trying to get the people to go back to legalism. They want to go back to how things were. They couldn't accept the reality that there's a new way and that change has come. Sometimes people are so nostalgic to return back to something that's past and gone. And in a real sense, we kind of see this happening now, even internationally. As the world, whether we know it or not, is already in World War III. Conflicts with Russia, and as they've invaded Ukraine, and took us back to the Cold War days. I remember as a boy when Russia was always a threat, and I remember when Rocky came out and Drago was a real big deal between the Russians and the Olympics in '76 and '80 in Canada. It was a whole big deal about the Russians and the role of Russia and being our primary foe, going way back to the 60s of history with John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Gorbachev. And it's just a big deal. And now Russia has invaded Ukraine. And just an amazing thing that is happening. And European alliances and NATO, and what has really happened is, in a real sense, it's a pretty decent analogy. How the people in Galatia want to go back to how things were in the Old Testament. And the main challenge in the world now is Vladimir Putin wants to return Russia back to Soviet Union days, the days when they had more control of some of the Baltic countries and places like Lithuania and Hungary and Belarus, which they own now, and Bulgaria and Lithuania, and just invaded Crimea a few years ago, and they really want to he really wants to restate and reclaim what he felt was the strength of the Soviet Union, and uh, and so that's really what this is all about. It's bigger than just Ukraine, but wanting to go back to something that has shifted, that has changed, and the difficulty in accepting when something has shifted and wanting to return to what was, uh, not being cognizant of the expense and the cost. And I think it's a good lesson because that's what happens for the people of Galatia. You know, Christ had come to get them out of that past restriction and restraints, but you had some legalists and some, if you let me use the word, some nationalists who wanted to take them back to that day. And blessings to you from University Park, Dorothy Brown. And in our lives, I think it's very apropos for us because sometimes God has delivered us and changed things in our lives. But you'd be surprised what many of us will be able to risk and give up trying to go back to something God has brought us from. God is shifting us. We want to stay stuck in what it was, not realizing that trying to go back to what that was may bring death and may sanction you, may cost you dearly. And I can preach about that for the rest of the day, but I think it's a good point to us. And that's really what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. It's what happens in our lives, the tendency to want things to be like they were. You know, it's like God bringing the Hebrews out of Egyptian captivity and taking them toward Canaan, but then they're desiring to go back to the melons and onions of Egypt and trying to return to what God had delivered them from. That's what's happening in Russia. It's what happened with the ancient Jews, and it's what happens in our lives, and it's what happens in our text. Jesus had come to get them out of bondage, out of legalism, out of the need for sacrifice and being dependent on circumcision and codes and creeds as a means of salvation. But unfortunately, they wanted to go back to those past realities. They wanted to have it their way. They wanted a Burger King religion where they could pick and choose what they felt would be true tenets of faith. And so Paul comes on in Galatians 5 to admonish them. Says, do you know what kind of life develops out of you trying to have this Burger King religion? You want to get things and have things your own way. It's obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Putin makes demands of European nations and has threatened countries like Poland and the European Union and NATO and Hungary. And now you have countries from all over the world, from Sweden to Switzerland to the United Kingdom, all coming aboard to, all coming aboard, you know what I mean? To repel what he's doing. And it's interesting because when you want to have things your way all the time, a Burger King religion, when you make it about you, when it's not just about self-interest. And people have said, well, the reason why Putin is, they're now demanding that America takes all their nuclear weapons out of countries that were once controlled by the Soviet Union. And in a real sense, a lot of these countries have been involved in unjust wars. As much as I love my own country, America, even us. I'm not going to get into that now because one wrong doesn't make another one right. But a lot of us have some repentance to do over the issue of money And it seems that Putin now wants to take over the whole world, wants to take over Europe, and wants a strong Europe, wants to, unite Europe, right? Yeah, even us. Yeah, we've done some things in the name of national security, but a lot of times it's about money, as we can see now. And Russia's been sanctioned. But anyway, let me stick to my point. I'm gonna try to make some parallels because it's amazing how it lines up. Um, but wanting to have it all, yeah, when it's always about you. And he's a great example. And that's what Paul is saying to the Galatians. When you want to make it all about you, and Putin's example. Last time we saw this is 80 years ago, when Adolf Hitler, when you got the installation by Stalin, and of course, father tendencies of Mussolini, and how empowered, and nobody paid much attention to it in the 30s, and then inevitably we end up in war. Ukraine being invaded. We're talking about in 39. And commencement of World War II, until Hitler ended up, his country turned on him, and ended up killing himself in 1945. But at the end of the day, but he made it all about himself, and in such an autocratic, dictatorial way. And this is reminiscent what we see now in Russia. And unfortunately, we've seen it even in the other politicians. I'm not going to go there right now. I'm going to keep it germane to where we are. But make the point that when we make it all about ourselves and want to have it our way all of the time, exactly right, it's pathology. Paul addresses that here. You're exactly right, Marva. It's this whole tendency that want to take my country back. And this whole nationalistic piece that you can trace it, and this whole supremacist piece now, where Russia is deemed by some to be the paradigm, because you don't see inclusion with Russia. You don't see diversity in Russia. And so for some people, unfortunately, America, nationalists and those who are supremacists, they see Russia as a standard. And because they feel that Russia represents the survival of a particular race. Yeah, make America great again. Tea Party back in 2007, 2008. Let's take our country back. And the question had to be asked: take it back where, or take it back from whom? And so when you ask the question, make our country great again, what period are you referring to? We're talking about 2007. What period do you want to go back to? And so you see nostalgia for some people wanting to go back, but what's nostalgic for some is horrific for others. When you say, let's take our country back, and let's go back to what period? And so because of all these competing ideologies, all these competing ideologies, unfortunately, it's because people want to have it their own way. And I think it's just a great, great lesson with Putin in our own lives. And so here's what Paul says. Let me get to this before I get too far off my lesson. But it's just amazing how all this stuff is happening, how this lesson lines up. We see it really in our eyes. It's perfect. That's why I know it's divine, right? There you go, D-Long. All right. What period were you talking about America's greatness? Yeah. What exact period are you talking about? All right. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. It is. When you want it your way all the time. When it's all about you all the time. Not about just your self-interest, but not about self-preservation, but when it's all about you. He says, when you get this Durkheim religion, when you made it about you, not God, not what's best for, but your own way. When it's all about you all the time. Look what he says happens. A couple things happen. He says, the first point, the first thing is you're always, he says, when you're always in vicious competition. Gee, always in vicious competition. Do y'all see that? Always in vicious competition. Y'all see that point? When you want it your way all the time, you end up in vicious competition. Y'all see it? All right? In vicious competition. Put that scripture back up there. Look what it says. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. The vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival. My goodness. Y'all see how this thing lines up even with what's happening now? It was as if God gave us a current example. Y'all not been doing this lesson for 2-3 weeks, but how this part here, because I couldn't meet Thursday, but look how it all lines up. When you make it all about you and this nationalism and and we want to be first and the only. He says what happens is there's the vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival, which means you no longer see the person's humanity. The person is no longer human. That person you see is somebody in your mind who is against what you want. They are a rival. It's happening now, unfortunately, even in politics. No matter what happens, and that's why I hate to talk about even. I don't like even dress politics no more in church because the political system is just so whack. I think we got to be engaged in it, but sometimes it's the lesser of two evils. But principles of love and humanity, but it doesn't matter what it pitiful. It doesn't matter with some people, no matter how you may feel about the current president. And many of us have our thoughts. I shouldn't have had thoughts about the other president. But no matter what you may think, and in terms of pulling people together in the West to try to make this thing to sanction Russians and Russia without entering into a war because we're dealing with a tyrant or whatever. No matter what he does, somebody's going to be about their own political party, and they won't give him everything he does is wrong. He's done nothing right. It's because they made it more about their particular party than the country. And so everybody who does not fit this particular ideology is a rival. And we depersonalize people and we dehumanize people because now you are in competition with me. That's what's happening now. Putin has said anybody who aids Ukraine, if you send supplies or weapons over there, then you're going to have to deal with me. Because now he can't see the humanity of the people he's killing. And now he's refused to see the humanity of people who may even help. That's it. It's really part of our country. And so what's happening now is a lot of times and here's a lesson for us. In our own lives, how many of us have been so much about what we want to the extent that we depersonalize everyone else into a rival? That we find ourselves always competing, always wanting to be the best, always. And unfortunately, churches do this. Pastors do it. Some pastors do it. Some churches do it. We got the best church. We got the best pastor. You'd be surprised how much foolishness goes on. And you would think that we are gangs. Sometimes you think in the church that it's Putin against Biden. That it's Sweden and Switzerland and the European Union against Belarus. And so on one hand you got Russia and North Korea and perhaps China and Venezuela. And on this side, you got America and Canada versus South Korea, and, and Taiwan. And so when you look at it, it's because people want to have it their way. They want to have it their way to the extent that it doesn't matter about the humanity. It doesn't matter who loses. Doesn't matter what. We don't see the imago Dei in the sense of humanity. We don't see that. We don't see that war is not the answer. But because of fallen humanity and because it is out of rule and take over, war has been around all these years. And Paul is saying here that when we focus with this level of exclusivity about wanting to have it your own way all the time, he says the effect is that's a Burger King religion. Yeah. And what happens is you end up isolating everybody else. Right? And anybody who doesn't see it your way is an enemy. Never have any peace. The greatest peace is when you become secure enough in yourself to realize your greatest competition is that person that you look at every day in the mirror. The greatest peace is when you wake up in the morning and the only person you're trying to be better than is a person that you were yesterday. You'll be surprised when you strip yourself of who's got the best this, or who's got the best that, or this is what my neighbor's doing, or this is what they just bought, or if you're single, this person got married then, this person got money here, this is where they go on vacation, or this is where they live. You'll be surprised when you move yourself and say, Lord, not my will, but let yours be done. And every day help me to be a better version of myself. That's all I'm trying to be. People go to work. I've seen people even in the work environment. They feel like everybody's trying out to get them. Or they won't help other people because they feel like if I help other people at the workplace, then it won't bring credit my way. It's funny when you juxtapose the last two presidents, and I want to do this because I know we vote differently. But I saw something yesterday on social media with people saying, Biden is not saying enough. He's not upfront enough. But behind the scenes, the guy they say has been working to build these coalitions with the European nations, and how behind the scenes, what I'm told, that he's done more to bring people together in European nations than had been together since the days of World War II. At the same time, the other guy puts out something saying this only happened because of what I did. So you got one leader who's always me, I'm this, and the other one that you ever heard anything from, people are criticizing. And just a great, interesting juxtaposition. And I'm not trying to be preferable to one or the other, but the point is it's a great example that when you know who you are, you don't have to keep talking about what you did. When you know what you've done and your contributions, you don't have to give out press releases to make yourself look good and to put others down. If it's really in you and God has it for you, all you got to do is serve and let your light shine. Our lights will never shine bright. Unscrewing somebody else's light bulb will never make your light shine brighter. And I think this vicious competition, we depersonalize everybody. It happens in corporate America, happens in politics, happens in church. When you make it all about you, that's what happens. Always in a vicious cycle of competition. Just rather than just being who we are. Rather than just being who we are. Just what the philosopher Paul Tillich called just the courage to be. The courage to be. Too many of us are always trying to do. Trying to do. Gotta get this done. Gotta do this. Paul Tillich says, we gotta have just the courage just to be. I think what drives us crazy is I gotta compete, I gotta achieve, I gotta do. We're always in this drive to do, to accomplish. In this insatiable drive just to accomplish and do and acquire and gain. Paul Tillich said, just have the courage to be. I'm at a place in my life now where it's not just about doing. I just want to be. George, Lord, just help me to be. It's not about doing, but let me just be. And whatever I do, let it come out of my being. Right? That's a good point, Tom. If everyone's your competitor, then who's your friend? That's a great question, Tom Lyons. And so that's the point I want to make there. Morning to you, Sean. And so when you have a Burger King religion, the first thing that he says is you're always in a vicious cycle in vicious competition. Here's another one. Burger King religion, Paul says. Now you're always in vicious competition, but point two, when you have Burger King religion, and put the second point on the screen, there are addictions that are out of control. Addictions out of control. Addictions that are out of control. All right? Addictions that are out of control. Yeah, just be. That's it, Vicky. Just give me the courage just to be. Put the scripture back up there. And look what he says about this Burger King religion, trying to have it your way. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. The vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival. That's always in vicious competition. But notice addiction out of control. He says uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions. Uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions. Addicted addictions. Addictions. That's good, Marva. Uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions. An addiction here is something that keeps bringing you back. Something that you can't shake. The connotation here is negative. It's destructive. Sometimes, unfortunately, people think of addictions. When you hear the word addiction, sometimes we relegate addictions to drugs, alcohol. But there are more addictions than just drugs or alcohol. You can be addicted to. You can be addicted to cigarettes. Some people can have addictions to sex. Some people can have addictions for food. Somebody can have addictions to shopping. Somebody can be addicted to gossiping. You can be addicted to TV. You can have addictions to social media, Facebook and Instagram. Addictions can't be just reduced to drugs, right? I think sometimes people don't call this addiction, but some people can be addicted or have a tendency to attract the same type of people in lives. Somebody said, once I keep attracting broken people in my life. You know, I keep attracting people who want me to heal them, but who's gonna heal me? You know, some people are addicted. Some people are addicted. Some people are addicted to being needed. They're addicted to codependent relationships. There are different types of addictions. But in this context, addictions is negative. That's good. The fame, notoriety, have my name called, being up front, pleasure, a whole lot of different types of addictions. Addicted to attention. And what Paul says is when somebody has an addiction, really, if you look at it, addiction sometimes can be born out of various things. It can be born out of emptiness. It can be born out of loneliness. Addictions can be born out of woundedness. Addictions can be born out of pridefulness. Addictions can be born out of self-centeredness. Addictions can be born out of foolishness. I just gave you a few of them. Emptiness, loneliness, woundedness, pridefulness, self-centeredness. All these things can be the cradle of addiction. Paul says when you want it your way, sometimes people who have pain, they self-medicate because they still don't realize that in their woundedness, they don't realize their body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And so instead of releasing to the Holy Spirit or getting help, they continue that cycle. Their addictions, addictive behaviors. And we have to ask ourselves, and I think in people perhaps like even Putin's case, or sometimes even Trump's case, perhaps. I don't want to really do this because I want to talk politically, but sometimes people can be addicted to powerfulness. And they get a taste of power and position that they don't want to let it go. And they're in a bit of privilege, yeah. And because they didn't want to let it go, they would do anything to maintain it. Because they made it all about them. And in our lives, we have to ask ourselves the question, what have I gotten myself addicted to that's destructive? Because I'm still the king or queen of my life and won't pray, Lord, thy kingdom come. And realize in order for his kingdom to come, my kingdom had to go. But people get addicted to things every day. You're exactly right, Queen Natalie. People get addicted to things every day. And until we get to the point where we say, Lord, strip me of myself. Show me me. If there's anything in my life that, woundedness. Self-centeredness. Emptiness. All these things, painfulness, loneliness, emptiness, woundedness, all those things can give birth to addictive behaviors. A person who's in pain can go trying to seek other places to find a cure and a balm and a panacea and end up finding themselves in bondage. That's the moment we have to ask God, whatever's in me, if it's painfulness, you'd be surprised how many of us we face trauma, and because we face trauma, that's good, Christina. Dixon hurting others. Sometimes I learned this, that sometimes when we've been traumatized and we face trauma, that we will go seeking out relationships, and we will attract other people who have traumas. And it's really called a trauma bond. It's a person who's had trauma that you go out and you hook up with somebody else who's been traumatized. And you make each other feel better initially because both of you had trauma. But because both people are broken, hurt people are going to end up hurting people. And instead of two healed people coming together, when two people who not dealt with traumas come together, when trauma hooks up with trauma, it's trauma squared. I mean, it's trauma to the infinity. And rarely can peace and happiness be produced when trauma connects with trauma. Typically, that's going to be a cocktail and something that's going to be very explosive. And so we have to ask ourselves, if I want it my way, do I say, God, okay, show me my loneliness, my emptiness, my misery, my pridefulness, heal me, let me, so I can have what your desires for my life versus me having it my own way. And so that's the second thing. One more thing about this Burger King religion, I'm gonna let you guys go because that's pretty deep there. I think, because I really think something's wrong with Putin. I really think the pridefulness, trying to relive something. I think something is wrong because something's got to be wrong when you got that level of evil, that you do whatever has been done, poisoning people, killing people who don't agree with you. You notice what's happening in Crimea, what happened in Syria. When something is in you like that, it's got to find its way to come out of you. And I think inevitably we've got to ask ourselves, God, let me surrender myself and my will and my way to you. And whatever wounds I have, pride I have, emptiness I have, loneliness I have, help me to not have self-sabotaging behavior. Because sometimes we can sabotage ourselves. So one, always in vicious competition. Two, was, addictions that are out of control. Here's the last one. I'll let you go. Alienation from community. Alienation from community. When you got this Burger King religion, there's alienation from community. Alienation from community. Put the scripture back up and let your guys go. I'm way over. I've been over an hour. I'm supposed to be up under 30 minutes. But what he says, it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. The vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone to their rival. That was the vicious competition. Uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions. Here's the last one. Ugly parodies of community. Ugly parodies of community. What does he mean by that? Ugly parodies of community. So I can go on. He said, when there's an ugly parody of community, that means there's no respect for community. Even your thoughts about community mean nothing. We trivialize community. We don't respect community. We disregard community. We devalue community. We deprioritize community. We deplore community. We underestimate community. We bring about a perspective of loneliness and being very insular. Community means nothing. It doesn't matter about what other people do, what other people think. Community, and that's one thing that this whole thing with Putin now has done. One of the ways that typically now, when you get this many people, this many countries, this many corporations lambasting you, this many countries being repulsed by your actions. Sometimes we say things like this, and I get it, but I want to say this. But I've heard it said, and I've said, I don't care what nobody thinks about me. No matter what you say about me. I get the point. That means we're not going to live based upon people's perspective. We're not going to be limited by people's opinions of us. I get that point. However, your name means something. A good name is more important than rubies and diamonds, and a good name is precious. Some people use, I don't care what anybody say about me, to justify actions that are immoral. Right now, Putin don't care what people think about him. I don't care what you think about me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. It's okay to not be limited, to not limit your life and your possibility by what people say about you. That's on one perspective, that's good. However, on the other side of this equation, our reputation and our character, that sentiment should not be used to justify any kind of behavior, regardless of who it hurts or what. I'm gonna live. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care what you think. Yeah, that shouldn't be used. That statement should be used to free you to pursue your dreams, not free you to do devilment and live in a way that's lascivious, in a way that is disrespectful to God. Because we gotta be careful. I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna do what I want to do. What does that mean? I'm gonna smoke drugs. I'm gonna shop. I'm gonna sleep with whoever I want to sleep with. I'm gonna slap whoever I want. I'm gonna take whatever I want because I can have it my way. We gotta be careful with that. You know, don't worry about people. Don't live beyond the opinions of people. Yeah, but you do need to care. If you got a whole family that loves you and wants what's best for you, I don't care what y'all think. I'm gonna do it my way. You gotta be careful with that. It's very nuanced. I get. Don't let people limit you. You know, for instance, I cared about what my mentors thought with my music, right? I cared what they thought. That's why I didn't pursue music, because people I respected told me don't do it. I cared about what they thought. The problem with that is for over 30 years, I cared about what they thought and their opinions, but at the same time, I wasn't listening to what God said. When caring about what they think, when it has you separated or not obedient to God, that's a problem. God gave me gifts and talents with preaching and music. But because I cared about what my mentors thought, I didn't do music. God had given me the gift, right? So when you're pursuing what God told you to do, sometimes you have to focus on what God said, not people said. But you have to be careful with this. I don't care what nobody, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I don't care what people think. No, you can't do what you just want to do. You got to do what God says. And a lot of people use that as an excuse. And I want to break some, because I've said it. You can live beyond people's opinion. People's opinion don't matter. Yes, but no. Yes, but no. Because in the multitude of counsel, there's safety. Some of us, I don't care. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Yeah, but sometimes getting sound advice, you should care about what people say. They're saying right now, I don't know if y'all saw some pictures, they got Putin on one end of the table and got his counselors on the other end because they say he's scared of COVID. Now, here's the fun thing. Many people in our political process were saying we look weak to him because we wearing masks. Now he's at this 25-foot table. He's on one end. They were on the other end because he's afraid of him. He's afraid to get COVID. They say he's not listening to his advisors. The point is when you get to the point where you don't care what people think. Now he's got the oligarchs, people telling him this is a bad idea, right? You got to be careful when you like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care what y'all think. No, because sometimes God will put people in your life to help you make the right decision. You got to care about what somebody thinks. Because sometimes people may see something that you can't see. You got to care what some people think, because you need intercessors. When you're weak and can't think for yourself, somebody else's opinion has the matter. When you get to the point where you just do what you want to do, right? Again, I'm not talking about the things that God told you to do, because there have been times in my life when I had to do what God told me to do. When I started preaching, my sisters did not want me to preach. I probably would have preached earlier if I hadn't listened to my sisters. One is with the Lord now. My older sister Charlita. They begged me, and because they were so influential on me, they knew I was called to preach, but they don't do it. And I probably would have started preaching earlier, maybe 2 years earlier, right? Had I not been listening to my sisters. On the other hand, it gave me time to do some things in high school, play football, etc., and be a kid. But my sisters had me so traumatized with preaching. Don't preach, right? I knew I was called to preach when I was 13, but my sisters just kept telling me, don't do it. Don't do this. Finally, I had to get to the point where I didn't care what they thought, right? Because I knew what God had told me to do. That's different. So I had to disregard my sisters, who were the closest thing in my life. I had to disregard what they were saying at that time to do what God wanted me to do, because I knew God had called me. So in that instance, I couldn't care what they thought, because what they thought was holding me back, and they was crazy themselves sometimes. Don't tell something that I said it, but she knows it. And so in that instance, I couldn't keep going by what she said. So in that instance, I had to make up my mind to not listen to anybody. You know, that was one or two girls that I kind of liked at the time who didn't want me to preach, right? In high school, I couldn't think about what the girls would think about me. They wanted the football player. They wanted the guy who was singing, but I couldn't think about what a girlfriend thought or my sisters thought. I had to do what God told me, right? So in that instance, I didn't care. But many of us use that excuse for not just for spiritual stuff, but anything. I don't care what you say about me. So I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna cuss, I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You only live once. You got to be very careful with that, because that don't care attitude will have you by yourself. That don't care attitude will have you at a table by yourself with no counselors and no protection and no wisdom. You got a grandma who's telling you something. You got a grandma telling you, don't date him. Your auntie told him something ain't right about him. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm in love. Y'all can't tell me what to do. And you end up jumping out there because you had this parody of community because you wanted it your way. And so we gotta be, it's very nuanced. We have to be very careful of when do you not listen to what people are saying to you. And when the times when you need to listen. The key is you gotta have some community. You gotta have 2 or 3 people that you trust in your life, that you make a pact with, that you know that these people here, when they speak to me, I'm gonna value what they say. Gotta be very careful. Gotta be very careful. I've spoken to some of my sons and daughters in ministry. They want to start a church. I'm gonna go and start. Well, you're not ready for that. God told me, I know you my pastor, you my God. Oh, okay. So the moment they say God said, I back up out of it. But I've been doing this a long time, and I can see, right? God told me this. You my pastor, but God, okay. The moment you say God said, I'm gonna back up out of it. No, but be sure God said it. Be sure God said it. And I've seen someone come and say, Pastor, it was my ambition. Yeah, I understand. I'm praying. I'm not gonna say I told you so because I love you. But I've seen so many go out there and fall on their faces because they thought it was God's will, but it's their human wish. They thought it was their anointing, but it's their ambition. Sometimes you can get out there and fall on your face. I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know, Tim. I know. You gotta know it's God and not you. You gotta have a respect for community. God's put a community around you. Ask God to give you the community, give you the connections, so that they can tell you, no, you've been selfish. This is about you. You need somebody, even if you're married. You need a girlfriend who tell you, no, you need that's good. You need a girlfriend in your life and you're married to tell you, no, you mishandling your husband. You need a homeboy or a friend say, man, you need to go home. Get out the streets. No, man, I'm not gonna fend for you and do it. You gotta go home and get it right. Gotta have somebody who can stand with you in community to do life with you, to help you make decisions and think through things that are tough. If you make it all about you, you end up like Putin at the table by yourself because you had a Burger King religion. And so at the end of the day, what I'm saying today, don't have a Burger King religion. Don't have a Burger King religion. Don't have a Burger King religion. Be in competition, addiction is out of control, and you don't have an appreciation for community. Know when to tell people, no, I'm doing, God said it. I can't let your thoughts stop me. And know when to surround yourself with people who you trust to help you think through, have community. Because in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. Where two or three are gathered, touching and agreeing. That's power and unity. I love y'all so much. Hope you got something out the lesson. And whatever you do, don't have Burkina religion. I'll be doing Bible study tomorrow at noon and 7 p.m. And I'll be back for morning due Thursday at 9:30 a.m. As always, remember this: if you be good to God, God will be good to you. Till next time, peace.
Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Yes, I am. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Set up free, y'all. Ooh. Yes, I am.
What you're looking for, you can find it here on the whole TV. What you're looking for, what you're looking